Welcome to episode 2 of Off the Beaten Wise Path, coming to you from my car because it's an impromptu interview and story with Leah, and I appreciate her for saying yes on just a random whim. Leah, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Leah Hensley. I am the Quick Response Team Specialist for Monroe County.
Monroe County. What's the county seat in Monroe? Is it like
What do you mean?
Like where's like
there's Peterstown and Union.
Union, that's what I was trying to think. It's been a while since I've been down that way. We're down here in Hinton right now. They were doing some outreach, and this QRT, since I've met them, I will tell you, like I always see them out like doing something. They're always out doing Narcan giveaways. You guys hustle.
We do.
Like, I appreciate that. Like for real, you guys save lives. You're in recovery.
I am. I'll have 4 years on August 4th.
4 years. 4 years of freedom.
Yes.
What was your primary usage? What were you using?
I use a little bit of everything, but my drug of choice would have to be heroin and fentanyl.
Wow. How did that start? How did that, did you start, was there a lot of people talk about gateways, like, oh, I started with alcohol, then I went to this, then I went to that.
I tried a Lortab at a party once, and I fell in love with the way it made me feel, and it progressed from there.
I asked this to my wife when I interviewed her. How would you describe the feeling? How did it make you feel?
Very light.
Light.
Yes. Nothing was weighing on me.
So you just kind of felt like relieved.
Yeah.
So you go to the party, you do that, and how long before, did you wake up the next day and be like, man, I gotta do that again?
I'd say it was about a week later, and I was like, you know what, we should definitely have another party.
So you were, that's what so many people, I tell them, I was like, it starts out as a party, then it becomes a full-time job.
Yes.
So you were using, a lot of people go through a lot of things. Did you have anything traumatic happen to you, like during the madness?
Yes. I have been raped a couple times actually, and I've been kidnapped, and during that kidnap they tried to force me into the sex trafficking. I got taken to Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And I escaped through a basement window.
Now, was this here?
Yeah, it was in Beckley.
You hear that? Beckley, West Virginia, and they tried to get you into the sex trafficking,
yes.
And you had to escape.
Yes.
In Beckley. Just let that wash over you for a minute. That was Beckley. That's our hometown, our backyard. How old were you at the time?
I was about 23. 23. Mm-hmm.
And you said you escaped through a basement?
A basement window, yes.
Wow, man.
I was drugged on the way. See, I thought, because I was a prostitute as well, I thought I was just getting in the car with somebody that I actually knew. His name was Randy. And I thought it was just going to be the simple in and out. And I don't remember anything except waking up in the back of his van and being real sick. And then I was out again, came to, and I was going downstairs into the basement. And I went out again, I know that. And then when I came to again, I was so sick. My stomach hurt so bad, and I had a horrible headache. And they didn't take my cell phone, so I got on Facebook and I sent my location to somebody, and it turns out I was in Pennsylvania. And I escaped through a little window, because I was itty bitty then. So I escaped through a little window and found a bus station, and I waited for my friend to come and pick me up all the way. They drove all the way from Morgantown to Pennsylvania.
Wow. And again, this all happened and started in Beckley.
Yes.
So don't think that it's not real. It very much is real. So I can't even imagine going through that kind of trauma. Growing up, did you have any trauma that you had to deal with too?
Yeah. When I was 4 years old, I got molested for the first time. Then when I was 8 years old, my parents got divorced, and they had a really rough relationship. My dad was abusive to my mom, and my mom was on drugs. So that was pretty rough for me. And then from 9 to 12, my sister's fiance molested me a few times.
So, wow. That's, you know, I hear that a lot, but it's still, every time I hear it, I got just kind of sitting like, wow. So it's almost like you were, from a young age, that feeling of being light, you were trying to figure out a way to escape from all that. You were gone. You went through all that crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to feel any of that anymore. Because that stuff weighs heavy on you.
Well, yeah, and like, so you have all that stuff going on. Like, how did you deal with it? When you're young, how did you deal with it?
So when I was 8 years old, I started self-mutilation. I started cutting. I don't remember what gave me the idea to start cutting, but I do remember that I was 8, and I remember how I felt the first time I did it.
How'd you feel?
Relieved. It was almost like euphoric.
When you're talking cuts, how were you cutting?
As you can see, I have scars. My tattoo covers a lot of this up. This one.
Wow.
I used to cut on my upper thighs a lot and up here so that it could be hidden.
So did you ever have to go to the hospital?
I should have, because I bled profusely, especially on this one.
Looking at this one, I'm like, my God.
I used Gorilla Glue to close it up.
As only a West Virginian would do. Gorilla Glue.
Yes.
You should try to sign a deal with those guys.
I should.
So you're self-mutilating at 8 years old.
Yes.
And did anybody know? Did anybody recognize it? Did anybody see it?
I told my mom when I was 12 because I tried to commit suicide for the first time. And
do you care to talk about that?
I thought it would be a good idea to drink a whole bunch of bleach. Turns out that doesn't really work. It just makes you very, very, very sick.
Ooh.
This is after my sister's fiance had molested me quite a bit, and
you wanted out.
I wanted out.
Yeah. Wow.
So I drank the bleach and it didn't work. I just became very, very ill. And my mom was like, well, what is going on? Why are you doing this? And I was like, I pulled up my sleeve and I was like, that's not the only thing I've done. And you could see the cuts and stuff. And she was like, what happened? And I told her about Eric, and that was my sister's fiance. And she called my dad, and it was supposed to be handled. I went and did a video testimony and everything at Just for Kids. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah.
And my video testimony got lost. Turns out the deputy that was supposed to handle it was cousins with Eric. So I feel like that had something to do with it.
Also a West Virginia tradition.
Yes.
And it got lost.
Yes, it got lost.
The good old boy system.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that and on a case like that, like,
yes,
it's a poly. So not only did you have to go through it, you didn't even get justice for it. So at that point, you're feeling like, well, nobody cares, and even the justice system doesn't care.
And my sister, she didn't believe me. She chose to stay with the guy.
You have a relationship with your sister?
I do not.
It's wow. Like, you see me just trying to process all this right now. Like,
it's a lot.
So after you did the bleach incident, then what next? Because like I'm just trying to keep score of like all these things. So you know you've been through your cutting, you've been molested multiple times, multiple people. The justice system fails you. Mm-hmm. What now?
So I'm moving with my dad, and I actually did really good there for a little while. I still cut, but I found a good therapist, and I was on medicine. It had leveled me out some, and I did really good. I was getting good grades. I had a lot of friends, and then something just snapped in me one day, and I started using Lortabs again and Xanaxes, and then I got raped on the bike trail in Beckley. I ended up with pelvic inflammatory disease because of that. Wow. And they gave me medicine for that, which furthered my addiction.
Did they ever catch the person that raped you then?
No, they didn't. I could only identify his hand because he got me from behind. And he hit me with a lead pipe. I have a little scar right here and one in my eyebrow. So that was a rough situation too.
In Beckley.
Yeah. A lot of stuff happens in Beckley.
You know, a lot of stuff does, and people don't understand it.
It's a rough area.
Beckley is one of the worst as far as violent crime in the state. Like, and that's you know, all these things, and like half of them don't even get reported.
No.
Like, jeez. So you go through that, and how would you describe? I have two questions. How would you describe the best day of your addiction? How would you describe the way you felt on the best day, like the perfect high? Like, how did that feel?
There's nothing like it. It's so hard to describe because you don't feel anything, but yet you feel this warm, fuzzy comfort, and it just numbs everything else. And on the perfect day, I had a pocket full of dope, pocket full of money, and clean needles.
Clean needles. It's funny that you said warm, fuzzy. My wife described it the same way.
Yeah.
Verbatim, with those words.
Yeah.
So that was like the great part of it, right?
Yes.
Now, tell me like the worst part of it. Like, how did you get that pocket full of dope, clean needles, all the things?
The worst part would have to be standing in Sheetz parking lot with my leg up on the side of the building, waiting for a John to pull in, not knowing if I was going to make it out of there alive, and having to do that repeatedly until you got a hold of the dope man. And
which Sheetz was it?
The one at the bottom of Harper Road.
The infamous bottom of Harper Road.
Yes.
I will not stop there. My daughter had a basketball game adjacent to there. Like, I went in like loaded because that place is crazy.
It's awful.
It is.
It's awful.
So you had the prostitute, and I can't even, like, I would say that there's probably many horror stories from that too.
Oh yes.
Like, how does that work? Do you get, like, you just post up there? Do you put it on, like, on the internet? Like, how does that? Honestly, God, I don't know how.
I never put it on the internet. I posted up at Sheetz a lot. Or I could just walk down the road and they'd be like, "Do you want to ride?" I'd be like, "Sure." And I'd get in and I'd ask them if they wanted some company. Or I would go to Tamarack and be a lot lizard. I done that. And then, of course, you have people in the trade that you know, so they can hook you up with further connections.
Wow. Again, all this is in Beckley.
Yes.
Tamarack. Like,
yes.
I mean, like, I think it's really cool for us to shine a light on that because so many people are like, "Oh, it's just Beckley."
Yeah, it's just Beckley.
So you're doing all that, and you've been kidnapped, you've been all these things. What was the moment? What was the thing where you were like, "Damn it! All right, something's got to change"?
The first time I got clean, there wasn't a moment. I went to jail, and I didn't get back out for 2 years. I went to prison.
See, I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to Lakin?
Yes. I've been to Lakin twice. Because...
What were you charged with?
Conspiracy and third offense shoplifting. It started out as armed robbery, but when they reviewed the tapes, I wasn't brandishing a weapon or anything.
Like I just did earlier.
Right.
Conspiracy is one of those things that so many people get locked up for conspiracy.
Yes.
And it's this big, broad charge. Like, conspiracy is like one of those things where we know you're guilty of something.
Yeah, we don't know what it is.
We don't know what it is, but you conspired.
You thought about it. So therefore you're guilty.
So you conspiracy and third offense shoplifting because you were supporting your habit, right?
Yes.
So you go to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Any drugs in prison?
No.
Really?
Really.
None at Lakin?
There was a few times that Suboxone and meth came in, but
That's a good job for you guys down there, because if you're keeping the drugs out at Lakin, that's a shout out. Because
yeah, there wasn't. When I was there wasn't a lot either time.
What about the regional?
Yeah, there was a lot of drugs at the regional, but I didn't use any, because by the time I got over the sickness, I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, well, I've heard many people say the best detox is in jail because you feel like shit, and you'll never forget it.
Right. So I got clean in jail the first time, and then I got out of Lakin. I did parole. I relapsed.
What triggered that? Was it a relationship?
Yes. Yes.
How'd I guess?
Got with the wrong girl.
See?
And she was using, and I stayed strong for about 3 months, and then I was like, you know what? Let's just do this together. And so I relapsed, and then I was like, okay, I've had enough of this. So I moved to Bluefield, and I was living with my friend's sister, and he was like, well, if you're going to live with my sister, we're going to be together. I was like, oh, well, that's not going to happen. So I absconded with 22 days left on parole, and I went to Virginia, and I stayed clean in Virginia, but I was selling drugs.
What were you selling?
Heroin and meth. And I got caught in Virginia 11 months after I ran, and I went back to Lakin for another year.
Wow. All that prison time for conspiracy and third offense shoplifting?
Yes. I just completed parole last May, so almost a year.
Our tax dollars at work.
Yeah.
Some people prison works, but I look at so many people and I'm like, okay, let's look. You were shoplifting because you were trying to get that dope.
Yep.
And conspiracy is always a bullshit charge in my book. So you did all that time because you had a problem.
Yes. I never got offered rehab.
Never.
Not a single time.
Wow. That's sad. So you relapsed and then you go back the second time. You get out of Lakin the second time. Mm-hmm. What happened after the relapse?
After the relapse, like I said, I got clean. I stayed clean in Roanoke. Went back. I was still clean. Got out. I was still clean. I went to my girlfriend's house in Charleston, and it became very domestic.
Like physical domestic?
Yeah, like she pulled a gun on me and everything. And so I told my PO, I was like, this is a dangerous situation. I'm going to have to leave when the time is right. And she was like, well, just let me know where you go. So the only place I could go was to Bluefield. So I went back to Bluefield, and I got into the Highland House. And I completed the Highland House, and then I went to the Kennedy Center. And I had just a couple months left there when I moved out in with another girlfriend, and that worked out for about 2 months, and then I had to get out of there. It got to the point that I was contemplating suicide again. I did not self-harm. I didn't relapse or anything like that.
Was it just like a toxic thing?
Yes, very toxic. So I left there, and I got my own apartment now.
So, what would be? Because I'm listening to this story. I guarantee everybody that's watching this is thinking, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Now, and I'm also thinking, you heard, and I'm sure that's like 1/1 billionth of all the things that Leah has been through.
Yeah.
But here she is. She's out here doing outreach. She's out here helping people. And that shows that you can recover from anything. Anything. What would be your advice? Now, I'm going to say one. Because, like, relationships, every time somebody calls me and they're like, Dave, I messed up. I'm like, what's her name?
Yeah.
Or what's his name? And it's every time. But what would be some of the things that you use to stay clean, stay sober, and stay in recovery?
So, I'm finally at a point in my life where if my parents were alive, they would be proud of me. Both of my parents and my stepmother have passed away. So I know that they would be very proud of me for overcoming addiction and everything else and staying focused on the life that I want. Also, don't get in a relationship until you've healed yourself, because it's just going to be toxic. Hurt people, you know?
That's probably one of the most accurate statements.
Yeah. So,
like, you if you're injured and you're bleeding, you bleed all over everybody.
Yes.
Wow. That, folks, I know when you're watching this, you're all going to have that wow moment, and I'm sitting here stunned, like, because, like, I didn't know any of this. I just knew, like, hey, man, she's out here being a warrior. She's hustling. I wasn't even scheduled to come down here today. I scroll Facebook and I'm seeing they're posted up. I'm like, hey, on the way, right?
Right.
And then I get here, I'm like, hey, you want to do a podcast? So you talk about a powerful testimony. And thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. So to sum up, warrior, absolute warrior. And I have chill bumps right now. So thank you so much. Leah with QRT in Monroe County.
Mm-hmm.
What
we
a
also
story.
come to Summers
County, Monroe County.
Yes.
They're all over the place. And what a story. Thank you so much.
Thank you.